Namaskaram. Uh, Let us start learning the fifth chapter of the first paper of pre-Vidvat examination. This chapter is about Lakshanas or characteristic features of dancers or a dancer and what are the vices of a dancer or an artist or a natti, as we say. As we know, earlier times the concept of dance did not exist in solitude, meaning there were one artist was known for being a good dancer, a good musician, a good screenwriter, a good director, and whatnot. And together they were called an art. He or she was called an artist. And during the period of Natya Shastra, uh, or quite some time after that, before Abhinaya Darpana, surely, the concept of Natya was an amalgamation of all of these art forms. Dance again did not exist in solitude. So dance, drama, music, theater, what we call today, all together were called Natya. So an artist had to be proficient in all of these and not just the art of dance. Hence, when you learn or understand the Lakshanas, it says that a dancer must be good at singing because earlier that was a requirement. So with that prelude, let us go to this chapter, try to understand what are Lakshanas. So first things first, what are Lakshana? The term Lakshana literally means, I'm sorry about this writing, I'm still figuring it out. It means features or characteristics. So when I tell Lakshana of Kinkini, which is there in junior exam, it says Kinkini should be made out of Tamra or Rajata. It should be made out of copper, or it should be made out of Kanchu, or it should be made out of silver. So when I'm trying to describe something, that description becomes Lakshana. So let's say this is my mobile phone. The Lakshana of this mobile phone is that it is iPhone 15, it has iOS blah blah blah, it is this, the size of this phone is so on and so forth. So characteristic features of something or somebody becomes Lakshana. Okay, na? So that is what we'll understand for today's lesson purposes. So Ivaga, how we are going to study is, we will go directly to Abhinaya Darpanam of Nandikeshwara. So the next slide you will see that I have copied the shlokas, the verses directly from Abhinaya Darpana, and we are going to try to understand that. So this is the most, if I must say, authentic way. Of course, today's textbooks have the same authenticity, but we'll just take shlokas directly from Abhinaya Darpana. So this is Patra Lakshana or features of a natti or a heroine or an actress or a dancer. So what Abhinaya Darpana says, I have taken the shlokas. This is from sanskritdocuments.org. The shlokas are directly from Nandikeshwara's Abhinaya Darpana. If you see, there are 23, 24 and 25 shlokas. And they tell, and I've copy pasted the shlokas in Devanagari script and IAST, that is Internationally Accepted Sanskrit Transliteration. So we'll just read these shlokas. When you're attempting an examination, it is required or definitely an added benefit if you're able to remember the shlokas. And how does one remember shlokas? Is by just reading them every day. That is what we call Parayana today. So Dina Adana, if you keep telling, say you take 5 minutes and try to read all the shlokas that is there in your portions, by exam time or in like 4 or 5 days, it will come to you automatically. So this shlokas, I will repeat for your benefit, is Tanvi, Rupavati Shyama, Pinonnata Payodhara, Pragalbha, Sarasa, Kanta, Kushalagraha Mokshayoho, Vishala Lochana, Gita Vadya Talanuvartini, Parardha Bhusha Sampanna, Prasanna Mukha Pankaja, Evam Vidagunopeta, Nartaki, Samudirita, or I learnt it as Samudahrita when I was learning. So both are acceptable. They're called Pathya Veda, where there is slight differences. So we will go through these verse by verse, which will become your notes or answers. Okay. So let's take the first shloka. So Patra Lakshanam, it says Tanvi. What is Tanvi? The term Tanvi means somebody or the girl who is young. Tanvi. Rupavati. Rupavati, as the name suggests, the one who is beautiful. Okay. Next. Shyama. So the term Shyama is actually Shyama, the one who has a dark complexion. Now, what do I mean by dark complexion? As it's popularly called on the internet, 50 shades of brown. So, Indian complexion or the Asian complexion which we have, which ranges from slightly fair to a deep olive color, that is called Shyama, the whole spectrum. The one who has a dark hue. Krishna was also called Shyama. So, Devi is called Shyamale. So Shyama, the dusky complexioned one. So it can be wheatish brown, it can be dark brown, it can be fair, the various foundation colors that India has. Pinonnata Payodhara, which literally means the one who has whose upper body shape is great, whose breasts are held well. Or Pina Unnata Payodhara. Payodhara means breasts. So the one who has a good shape in her body, if we are being, if we are trying to understand it that way. So you can start your answer like this. So Nandikeshwara in his Abhinaya Darpana describes the characteristics of a patra or a nati as follows. And you can write your shloka, Tanvi Rupavati Shyama, Pinonnata Payodhara, and explain. He says that a nati is to be young, beautiful, with a good figure or a body shape. Pragalbha. The term Pragalbha means the one who is mature. Why? Because there are several themes that we do as dancers, right? So some things that involve Shringara, that involve Nayika, which only a mature artist can understand. And once an artist understands, he or she will be able to present it in a better way. So mature. Sarasa, the one who is easygoing, the one who is able to understand easily, or the one who is easygoing. Kanta Kushalagraha Mokshayoho, the one who can understand anything. Grahasodu, the one who can grasp things very easily, or the one who can understand things and be able to reproduce it. Don't we see that as dancers ourselves or as dance teachers? So there are a few set of students who you teach, they are able to understand very easily, and those students, I'm not telling the others don't make good dancers, but that is a good quality to have in a dancer. The next one, Kushala Graha Mokshayoho, the one who can understand easily or grasp things very easily. Okay. Next, Vishala Lochana. This is an attribute that we see in a lot of kirtanas or descriptions of gods or goddesses, right? Vishala Lochana, the one who has large eyes. Again, why is it a attribute for a dancer? Because he or she can be very expressive. So Vishala Lochana, the one with, say, nice eyes, large eyes, big eyes, I don't know. You can also just tell the one with expressive eyes. Okay. Geeta Vadya Tala Anuvartini. Geeta, music. Vadya, instrument. Tala, rhythm. Anuvartini, the one who can follow or the one who can go along with music, instruments and dance. Again, Abhinaya Darpananali, there's some things are not made up, right? All of it is what we require as dancers. This is where I would like to tell, these Lakshana Granthas or texts are actually documentation of what was happening at that point of time. So it is important, logical or sometimes sheer common sense that a dancer needs to be able to follow the music. Tala ello hogtidu nata ki ta ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದ್ರೆ that he or she cannot be a good dancer. So the one who can follow music, rhythm and also instrument. Okay. Geeta Vadya Talanuvartini. Parardhya Bhusha Sampanna. So I learnt it as Parartha Bhusha Sampanna, again Pathya Veda. But when I tried to understand this, it says of excellent choice. So the one who wears ornaments of excellent choice, or the one who wears costumes of excellent choice, however we want to interpret it. Bhusha Sampanna, the one who is decorated or is wearing such beautiful clothes, ornaments, etc. Prasanna Mukha Pankaja, the one who has a calm lotus-like face, or the face as beautiful as a lotus. Again, this is an attribute that we see that is used to describe all deities that we know of. Evam vidha gunopeta. Evam vidha. Ithara. Thus, this is how Nartaki Samudarita or Nartaki Samudahrita. A Nartaki is supposed to be in this way. Evam vidha. Like this. Gunopeta. Guno, qualities. So, a Nartaki is supposed to have such qualities. Okay, now this is what he says. So again, when you're structuring an answer, you can tell in Abhinaya Darpana, Nandikeshwara explains the qualities of a dancer or an artaki as follows, and explain all of these sentence by sentence. Now, as I was trying to read about this on the internet, there was a lot of controversy, because in today's world, we are more accepting of a lot of things. You don't necessarily have to be dark hued. Somebody who is practiced extremely well in, say, the United States can be a great dancer. Somebody who has smaller eyes, Southeast Asians, can also be great dancers. So let us try to understand and not fight amongst ourselves. Abhinaya Darpana was written quite some time back, and back in the day, Indians or Indian dancers were the ones who were known for doing classical dance, natya, nritya, and Abhinaya Darpananalli Nandikeshwara documented what were the good qualities of a dancer at that point. So today there are dancers who are really good, who don't necessarily fall into this kind of characterization. Doesn't make them any bad dancers. Let us just be accepting of that. Next, this is where the controversy happens. Apatra Lakshana or Varjaniya Patrani, the dancers that have to be left out or not supposed to do, or the vices of a nati. What is it? Again, we'll just read the shlokas of Abhinaya Darpana. Pushpakshi, Keshahinacha, Sthuloshti, I also learnt it as Pinoshti, Lambitasthani, Atistula Pyatikrisha, Atyucha Ativamana, Kubjacha Swarahinacha, Dashaita Natyavarjitaha. So again we will go one by one in the next slide. Pushpakshi, the one with small eyes, or barely any eyes at all. Yenagate, again, why today aren't there dancers who are great though they have small eyes? Yes, but back in the day there were barely dancers of that genre, of that kind, who were dancing classical dance, and it is also believed that people with large eyes can express better. Is it true to today? I don't know, but please do not write all that in your answer. Keshahinacha, simply the one who is bald. Again, today, if a person is bald, he can easily wear a wig. He or she can easily wear a wig. But back in the day, there was no concept of wig. And when you were a dancer and you had to play the role of, say, Satyabhama, who was known for her beautiful hair, you are clearly not going to be able to. Simple. Okay? Sthuloshti, the one with thick lips. Okay? The one who has very thick lips. Again, he or she may not be able to do abhinaya well, or may not be able to tell the dialogues well. Again, we are understanding that back in the day, natya required telling of dialogues, right? Lambitasthani, the one who has droopy body or drooping upper body. Atistula pyatikrisha, atistula api atikrisha, the one who is too fat. Again, no body shaming happening, just what Nandikeshwara has written. Atistula, because if you're, say, obese or morbidly obese, you're not going to be able to play a lot of characters, and it is still true to this date that you don't have enough mobility or flexibility in the body, and a dancer had to play multiple roles, right? Ati stula api atikrisha. Atikrisha, stula, the one who is too, let's say obese, not fat. I don't like using that word. Atikrisha, the one who is too thin. So you sometimes barely are able to see them on stage, right? Atyucha apivamana, the one who is a giant. I'm not even telling like 6 feet tall, but think about somebody who is 8 feet tall. Ativamana, dwarfs. Okay. Today again we are now very accepting, and there are great dancers who are too tall or who are too short. But let's read what Nandikeshwara has told. And also somebody who is too tall may not be able to sit in a faramandi, may not look good in a group. Somebody who is too short may not be able to play a lot of characters. Kubja, the one who is hunchbacked. Cha swarahina cha, the one whose voice is broken or doesn't have a good voice or who is probably dumb. So, again, this starts with my prelude of this chapter. A dancer was, he or she had to be a good singer, had to tell good dialogues. Today we have mic technology. So a person is dumb, somebody can easily tell her dialogues using a mic. But think about back in the day when this documentation was made, he or she had to scream out his or her dialogues. So a Swarahina could not be a good nati or a nartaki. Dashaita Natya Varjitaha. These 10 characteristics iroru are not supposed to dance or cannot dance. 10. Pushpakshi, Swarahinacha, Pushpakshi, Keshahinacha, Sthuloshti, Lambitasthani, Atisthula, Atikrisha, Atyucha, Ativamana, Kubja, Swarahina. Okay. So these are the Apatra Lakshana or Varjitaniya Patrani. Okay. Next we will go to the male counterpart of this lesson, that is Nata Lakshana, how a Nata should be. Alright, after a quick water break. Now we'll learn the Nata Lakshana. So again, this shloka is also from Abhinaya Darpana. Let us read it out. Rupavan, Madhura Bhashi, Kriti, sorry about the Vagmi, Patustathaha, Kulangana Sutaschaiva. There are a lot of typing errors, I'm sorry. Shastragno Madhuraswaraha, Gita Vadyadi Nrityagnaha, Siddhakaha, Pratibhanavan, Etadrusha Gunairyuktaha, Nata Ityuchyate Budhaihi. We will go through the one by one. Okay. Rupavan, just like we had Rupavati, Rupavan is handsome. Madhura Bhashi, the one who can speak well or speak good words or speak softly, the one who has a good speech. Kriti Vagmi Patustata, one who is a good orator, the one who can tell things well or the one who can give good speeches. Orator, a good orator. I'm sorry, I had some issue. Okay. Kriti Vagmi Patu, the one who is a good contender or the one who is good who is energetic, the one who is ready to do certain things. Basically, don't be lazy. Okay. Kulangana Sutaschaiva, the one who comes from a noble family or a good family or the one who is of good parentage. Okay. Again, today's world, it's very difficult to describe who is good parentage, who is bad parentage. Let us keep in mind that Abhinaya Darpana was written long time back, and there were a lot of inhibitions, lot of societal things that were there back in the day. Shastragnaha, the one who has knowledge of all shastras, the one who is well knowledge, the one who has good knowledge. Madhuraswaraha, the one whose voice is nice or one whose voice is soft spoken, sweet spoken. Okay, na? Gita Vadyadi Nrityagnaha. Again, same. This is very similar to our Nati. Gita, music. Vadya, instrument. Nritya, dance. Don't have to repeat, but An actor had to be all of it. Okay. Siddhakaha, the one who is capable of doing, the one who wants to do, achieve what he wants. Siddhakaha pratibhanavan, the one who is basically talented. Okay. Etadrisha gunairyuktaha, ithara, the one who has all these good qualities. Nata ityuchyate budhaihi, the elders have accepted that he will be called a nata. Now I want you to think about this in your mind. Maybe you can write it to me later. Are we describing the characters in our play, or are we describing the people who portray these characters? So I want you to think about this. When I tell, say, Shastrajnaha or somebody, am I talking about the character that we are playing, or the artist who is playing the character? There is a right answer. So you may let me know. You can write about it to me. With that, we come back to Lakshanas. Now we have understood